Alright, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say Kalayim La, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem HaRakah Kwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, who do rule and teach well. It's a young brother here, Shamash One Ben Yehoda, and yesterday I made a video and I was kind of going over varying news, a little bit of a fiery little rant by me. I'm usually, pretty reserved, but sometimes I was just like, oh my gosh, it's the same garbage over and over and over again. But I remember talking a little bit about Biden in Angola, and stuff like that, but I didn't really go into in depth about it. But then I did more research about Angola, and Angola was actually where they took the Jakes, the Portuguese. They took the Jakes out there in Angola and brought them out there to Brazil, to of course be enslaved, and then you have, while they're being enslaved, you have the whole thing about capoeira, things like that. They forced them to work on was like sugar mines and things like that. And then Jake basically made a fighting style out of a dance, which actually shows you that a lot of these martial arts styles, they actually come from Jake. You look at Japan. Japan is where you get karate, jiu-jitsu, and judo. And you look back at Ammon, you see the close proximity of Ammon to the rest of the tribes. You can kind of see, though, that's where Ammon got his stuff from. He got it from us. Even Moab and this kung fu, you think he got it from? He got it from us. So Jacob's the former of all things. That's really talking about the Most High, but I believe brothers still use that in terms of how Jacob formed a lot of these things that are now just readily available to the public. Like martial arts. It makes sense too. Jakes have been, doing all kinds of innovations to martial arts for years, and things like that, But nowadays we're not like other apostle I'd be talking about. But you can see, now Jake is getting his ass beat from time to time by these Russian mans, by these Russian Edomites. These guys train like every single fucking day. They put away their phone at night. These guys with Khabib, these Chechens, these, guys from like Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. These guys are, they here to kick ass. They giving Jake a run for their money. So back into Angola, right? So this is Jake. Alright, so this is Imuna. I am UNA, Education Through Simulation.org, and I think this is a UN site, of course standing for United Nations and whatever, which doesn't really have any, exact control over nations and their sovereignty, but, a lot of these nations join in and they sell out and whatever, and, WHO and FAO and so on and so forth. Look up what those things mean if you don't know. So Republic of Angola, the southwestern coastal African nation, is bordered by Namibia, Zambia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Republic of the Congo. Angola gained its independence from Portugal on November 11, 1975. Since independence, Angola has endured civil war paired with numerous corrupt elections. The Popular Movement for the Liberation of Angola government has been holding power since 1979. Right, and the MPLA was backed by Russia and Cuba, pretty much backed by communism. And they were up against UNITA, which is the United something for the independence, United Movement for the Independence of Angola, and then the FLNA, which I think is like the Freedom Liberation National Movement for Angola or something like that. You can look it up and get more details for yourself. But in time, pretty much the MPLA, they were fighting for some time. Then there was a peace accord made, and then they held an election, and the MPLA, backed leader won and became the president, and they pretty much held power ever since. And then United was kind of fucked up about it. United and FNLA were both backed by the USA, South Africa, which was still ruled by Edomites during that time, and what was it? Was it Zaire? But they were backed by them, and more about democracy and capitalism. So communism, Marxism, Leninism against capitalism, and basically, after the MPLA took power of the government, United, the leader, what was his name, Jonas Savimbi. You should be reminded about that funny little meme that you see. That I remember I used to see a few months ago. It'll be like fucking hentai or some shit, or like an anime, and then it'll just be, come brother, we must stop the MPLA, and then fucking machine guns and shit. I don't know what that game is, but that's what it reminds me of. But that guy ended up getting killed and whatever, and pretty much the US backed regime got fucked over. So they lost, and then they got fucked over. So much for taking backing from South Africa and the USA. So much for that. But that always happens, man. US backs regimes and then fuck them over. They did with Saddam Hussein. He was a CIA asset, and then look what they did to him. They fucked him over big time. Because he didn't want to play with them no more. So that's what happened. And now America is right back in there trying to, make leagues with them, and of course they're falling for it, which that's what Jake does. Let me get some scriptures, but I'm gonna read the rest of this just to give you some basic information. The current president of Angola's republic is João Manuel Goncalves Lourenço. Roughly 34 million people live in Angola, with 68% living in urban areas. Angola is rich in natural resources, including oil and diamonds, right? Which that's what they really want out of there. They want those resources and things like that, and access to them. Which Angola is more about reaffirming, Angolan and United States relations, because they've always been kind of, leaning towards Americans anyway, but Angola is like they have all kinds of different relations. They have relations with a bunch of different people, but their closest allies are Namibia and Zimbabwe. So they gotta wait and see. Is the United States also going to reach out to them? I don't really know about Zimbabwean and U.S. relations, or Namibian and United States relations. I don't really know like that, but we gotta wait and see. And also they're close with Brazil as well, because the Jakes, Judah, that was brought out from Angola was brought over now to Brazil. Right. As a result, it comes one of the fastest growing in the world. However, the impoverished population has yet to see the benefits of increased prosperity, and the country is still in a state of reconstruction after decades of civil war. Like I mentioned, the wars between MPLA and UNITA and FLNA, that's pretty much rocked the region. Alright, so this is 1 Corinthians chapter 4. Receive the course, not receive it, not you're full, not you're rich, raise kings with others, and use things, brothers, to the Ephesians. Alright, I'm just gonna get to the point here. I remember I talked about this with Apollos. I think that was also written about in Acts and things like that. But yeah, we'll get to the point here, so don't waste your time. 1 Corinthians 4:9. For I think that the Most High set us forth the apostles last, as were appointed to death, for me a spectacle to the world, and to angels, and to men. Right? So, civil rights, pastors, preachers have their time, and the truth comes last. And of course, the other part is absolutely the facts. We're made a spectacle to the whole world, to everyone. These people in the world, it's Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 and things like that. Well, look at those guys, right? And there's so many scriptures about the angels, how when a brother comes to the truth, the angels rejoice in heaven. So the angels are actually cheering you on when you're doing the right thing, which is a beautiful thing to think about. That even though you can be someone who you don't have opportunity to be around brothers and things like that, that you're never really alone. You're never alone. So keep that in mind to you brothers out there. You're never alone. And I do try with some of you brothers out there that I do see by yourselves, I do try to at least leave a like or something. I'm not big on commenting or things like that, but if I see you do like a community post or something, or if you do a video and I happen to catch it and you're like a sincere guy, like I'll like your stuff. I'll watch and then I'll like it and things like that. Or just so you can see that someone's out there watching. That's if I catch it. When I'm out there doing that, because it's different things. There's so many things to look into with this truth. So much stuff going on in the world, like that's it's just a lot, man. But we have an unction to know all things, so you gotta know what's going on in the world, man. You have to understand. You gotta look at everything. Look at the stuff, the mainstream news and the alternative news. You gotta look at everything, man. MOTB news, that's the big thing. And then these news about wars and things like that. Alright, so the point is here, all these things, they had their time. Trying to, the whole go back to Africa movement, that had its time, and now that bullshit's coming right back up again. And it's never gonna work out, because those leaders in Africa, they're all fucking sellouts. Those ones from, and the thing that's stupid is that they don't understand. They're even trying to go in nations that, like, you got Hamites up in there, man. You know what I mean? Like, you try to go down to like South Africa or some shit. That's Hamites, man. Those are not our people, or some shit like that. It makes no sense, And Jake trying to, oh, you gotta go to Africa. You go to Africa. They're all sellouts, man. Alright, so this is the book of Isaiah 28 and 14. Wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men that rule this people, which is in Jerusalem. Alright, and I'm going to get down to 50 verse. I'm going to explain. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell we are at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass, still it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies of refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. Right, now this is back then, I believe, the northern kingdom had been taken out by no. Perhaps the northern kingdom, I think they were getting taken out by this time, because I think around 36, 37, you have like Sennacherib coming down and vexing Judah and taking away certain people. Some of them he took, and then he went all across Judah. It was taking over cities and things like that. And when he came down to Jerusalem, that's when the siege and everything stopped, because the Lord brought down an angel and it messed them up. He got jacked up, and then Sennacherib retreated. He withdrew his forces back to I can't remember where he went to. I think he went back to Assyria, but he was assassinated by his sons, and then I think both of his sons fled to Armenia. I think is that where Ararat is? But I think they both fled to Armenia, or modern day Armenia. Don't quote me on that. And then after that, his successor came in, which I think is Esarhaddon. He came in to take the throne. I think it is Esarhaddon, but once again, don't quote me. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I think this is more talking about before Babylon. Before that happened, because as I said, use timeline and things like that. But this also applies to now, because this is what Jake has done. Jake has made a covenant with death, right? Because he said we made a covenant with death and with hell, with the grave. Or we had agreement. With death, we had agreement. When the overland scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. We have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. So that's what they think. They think that These jakes out there, they think that they're going to get away from Jacob's trouble and that they're going to be A-okay by selling out, but it's not going to happen. Jakes here in America, as well as jakes over there in Africa, jakes out there and across Europe who sell out, to Edomites and things like that. You're never going to be okay. Actually, Angola would probably be a fair bit better off dealing more with Russia and ditching the US dollar than trying to, play the side of the US, which has failing currencies all across it. The East is actually doing, pretty good. Like the ruble is not actually doing that bad, from what I hear. And that Russia's actually need of new business and things like that, and it's actually not doing as bad as you would think. Inflation is at a controlled level in Russia and things like that, and so that's what it is. Russia doesn't have terrible taxing. I think they only have like a 6% tax. I was watching Scott Ritter. He had a guest on his show, Ask the Inspector, with Jeff Norman. What's this guy's name? Andronov and Alexei Andronov or something like that. This guy, he works at some sort of tech company that deals with like algorithms in Russia, and he's pretty much explaining the whole thing about the Russian economy and how it's it's not doing as bad as people think. But that's pretty much what happened. I just wanted to kind of talk about this because I mentioned it about Biden. I think he did travel down to Angola, but before Biden even went down there, I think Kamala Harris traveled all across Africa, things like that to do. It's just a bunch of saving face and whatever. But at the end of the day, you don't hear about what she does, man. No one gives a shit. No one really feels her like that. No one like her like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Lord and you brothers will edify, and that's it. Shalom.